This is your news. News 4 at noon.
Coming up next, one of the most important and controversial witnesses in the OJ Simpson trial is back on the stand. We'll have the latest testimony. A Cahokia man is charged with child abuse, but you may be upset when you hear of the suspect's past criminal history. And our top story, a challenge is forming to the planned Schnucks buyout of national supermarkets. Good afternoon, I'm Margie Ellisor, sitting in for Robin Smith. A St. Louis coalition of community groups is asking supporters on both sides of the river to speak out against the planned Schnucks buyout of national supermarkets. News 4's Kara Caswell joins us live from Keener Plaza in downtown St. Louis, where the group talks about their plans to explain why the group is opposed to the sale. Kara?
Margie, I'm live at Keener Plaza, where members of the St. Louis Association of Community Organizations have come out strongly against the Schnucks proposal to buy out national supermarkets. They feel it will put the squeeze on the poor and elderly, not to mention those losing their jobs. Members of SLACO emphasize the FTC proposal is not a done deal. They are urging the public to submit comments during the next 60-day comment period to stop the deal. Under the proposal, Schnucks will have to sell off 24 of the mostly national stores to become other grocery outlets. But SLACO members feel they are selling off the bad stores, and that will not attract large chains to maintain competition. In other words, Schnucks would still have a monopoly.
We think that Schnuck Market has agreed to divest the worst of their stores. We think that a different mix of store divestiture will entice a new entry into the market. We don't believe that anybody who is really interested in doing business, grocery business in St. Louis, is going to be interested in those stores.
SLACO was organizing a public forum to be held Wednesday, March 15th at 7 o'clock at Harris Stowe College. Attorney General Jay Nixon will be there to address questions from the public and hear comments about formulating another sort of buyout proposal. Margie?
All right, thank you, Kara. That's Kara Caswell reporting live from downtown. Two former St. Louis police officers convicted of dealing cocaine will spend the next several years behind bars. 30-year-old Philip Fennerson was sentenced to 8 years behind bars. His partner, Cornelius McFerrin, received 5 years. The pair were caught on video stealing cash and drugs from a known drug dealer, then selling the narcotics for profit.
We work closely with law enforcement officers, consider many of them good friends, and it's difficult to think that they would do what these officers did. Still, though, it leaves intact my belief that 99.9% of the officers, particularly the St. Louis Police Department, are good, honest officers.
Both former officers apologized before the judge, telling him they were sorry for what they had done and sorry they had tarnished their police badges. A Cahokia man with a history of sexually abusing children is now charged in another case of abuse. 25-year-old James St. John is charged with aggravated criminal sexual assault. Police say he abused a 7-year-old boy. The abuse allegedly occurred while St. John was living in the home of the boy's babysitter. In 1993, St. John was convicted of fondling a minor. He received 6 years probation in order to undergo psychological treatment for that offense. Prosecutors now worry there may be other victims.
Obviously now has reason to believe that this treatment that he has undertaken has not been successful, and so we will need to look at in all minor children that he has had contact with in the last 12 months and look into the possibility that those individuals have been abused too.
St. John is currently being held on $200,000 bond. A local suspended school teacher may learn later this month whether she'll keep her job. A 2-week public hearing over alleged misconduct by Sissy Lax wrapped up last night. The Ferguson-Florissant School Board suspended the Berkeley High School teacher for letting students use profanities in a videotaped literature class project. Lax says freedom of speech is at stake and that the school district's anti-profanity policy is very vague. Well, right now, alleged racist police detective Mark Fuhrman is back on the stand in the OJ Simpson trial. Prosecutors are continuing direct examination for a second day. And since today's session will end early, it's doubtful the defense will get to cross-examine Fuhrman before next week. The defense claims Fuhrman planted evidence, such as bloody gloves, at Simpson's home to implicate him. Testimony moments ago suggests Fuhrman was not alone long enough to do so.
Well, taking notes.
So you got as far as item number 17, documenting your observation of a ski mask, one glove by the feet of the male victim. Had you completed your notes at that point? We all done?
No.
What happened to interrupt you?
Well, while I was still writing my notes, Detective Roberts entered. He just arrived on scene.
Meanwhile, Judge Ito plans to rule later on prosecutors' request for details on a possible defense mystery witness. The defense claims it has a witness who says Detective Fuhrman met Kathleen Bell, the woman who accuses Fuhrman of making racist statements, a woman he denies ever having met. Well, a strange murder case in suburban Detroit. A man who says his friend embarrassed him on a syndicated television talk show allegedly killed that friend. It happened at the trailer park home of the victim. The suspect, John Schnucks, went to Chicago on Monday to tape a segment about the secret admirers on the Jenny Jones show. Walking on stage, he saw a couple he knew, and thinking the woman was a secret admirer, kissed her. However, show host Jenny Jones told him the man Scott Amador had a crush on him. Schmitz told the audience he was heterosexual and was apparently so embarrassed that yesterday he allegedly shot Admirer to death. Well, the nation's jobless rate is showing surprisingly strong improvement. The Labor Department says unemployment dropped 0.3 of a point last month to 5.4%. President Clinton says the improvement is all part of his economic plan.
The new unemployment rate of 5.4% is the lowest in almost 5 years. We have the lowest combined rates of unemployment and inflation in 25 years. The fundamentals of this economy overall are healthier than they have been in a generation.
Now, some analysts say they doubt the report will trigger new interest rate increases. Police in Arlington, Virginia say a Navy employee shot 2 co-workers, then turned the gun on himself this morning in suburban Washington. Navy sources say the gunman died of his wounds a short time after the shooting. One of the wounded is in critical condition. The other is hospitalized in fair condition. An appeals court in Houston has wiped out a $29 million judgment against 3 breast implant manufacturers. Even the 3 women who brought the suit wanted it dismissed. Their settlements will be smaller, but their lawyer says the money will come more quickly. Well, there is another indication today that basketball superstar Michael Jordan is going back to the NBA. Jordan's agent said this morning that Jordan is giving up his Major League Baseball career. Jordan retired from basketball 2 seasons ago and then decided to try baseball. Jordan has been seen playing minor league ball since then, but today his agent says he is quitting that effort. His agent is not saying if Jordan will rejoin the Bulls, but many sources say Jordan will do exactly that. Well, meantime, heavy rains continue to pound Northern California. Flash flooding is forcing thousands out of their homes for the second time this year. Homes, businesses, roads, and vineyards are flooded from San Francisco to Oregon. Some 75,000 people are still without power. Terrible situation there, but we are looking great outside.
Oh, we've got ourselves a great afternoon and a great couple of days coming in, but let's take a look what's going on along the west coast via the satellite pictures, and we're seeing that the storms continue to be moving eastward into northern and central California. A couple more weather disturbances that will be moving through over the next couple of days, so their problems are not over just yet. For us, no problems here. Plenty of sunshine, 63 for the afternoon as the kids get out of school. Brisk southerly winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour and gusty at times, so it'll be breezy, but at least the temperature will be nice and plenty of sunshine. And the complete weekend forecast coming in about 10 minutes.
Shaping up to be a nice weekend. Looks that
Thumbs
way.
up.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Coming up next on Your News 4, another terrible car bombing in Algeria leaves nearly 3 dozen people hurt. We'll have that story in our look at World News next. And there's another version of the Diary of Anne Frank. If you like the original, you'll want to read this one, too. And coming up a little later, Vince Bomarito shows Robin Smith how pasta and vodka, yes, vodka, come together to make a delicious dish. Our Friday's Taste of Tony is a little later on Your News 4.